right, so one of my theories for a really long time was that boys tend to have a little easier job of getting into college than girls. Why would that be? I saw the boys not, it seemed like things came a little bit easier. Maybe they didn't stress. They took it all in stride. It didn't really, not to say they don't worry. Of course they worry, and of course they do what they need to do to get into college. But for years, I always thought boys have it easier. Why is it that boys get into college easier than girls? Is it because there's fewer boys applying? Look at your friends. That's just not the case. So what is it? On a recent discussion with one of my really good friends, who is also a college academic advisor, helped me figure this out. When you apply to your number one school, what the college does on the first meeting day is they all sit around this big table with their laptops, and they'll start by calling out a high school with the letter A. So say, for example, they'll say, all right, give me everybody who's at Apopka High School. And everybody will pull up all the applicants from that high school. And what they're doing is they are rating the students from that individual, my example was Apopka High School, against one another. So they'll say, here's all the girls that applied from Apopka High School. This one has this GPA, and they're rated, first highest GPA, highest SAT score, all the way down. So let's now take that information and think about what's happening at your high school. So if you're a girl, I spent 14 years in a high school, this is what I saw. Girls will stay tight to that group. So your girlfriends, your best friends, it would be rare for one of you to stand out and say, well, you all are going to FSU, I'm gonna, go to USF. Of course that happens. And I'm not trying to stereotype anyone, but by and large, from what I saw over the course of 14 years, is a group of girls will all say, we're going to apply to FSU. Now, fast forward, let's have a look at what's going on at FSU. You all apply. You all kind of have probably a very similar GPA because you've been taking all your classes together. You have taken the highest level of classes that you could possibly take for every single year. So instead of going for English 1 honors, you went and took the leap and took whatever the highest course that you could possibly take. In your junior year, you took the highest course you could possibly take. In your senior year, you took the highest level course that you could possibly take. And so you're looking probably similar as you guys all are looked at by an admissions counselor because you've taken all the same kind of courses and your GPA is probably relatively close to one another. Your SAT scores are going to be completely different. So that's where the ranking starts to pull you apart. So your SAT scores are the one that is going to get you, if you do better than your best friends by 50 points, that means you're going to be higher on the list. When those counselors are making the decision about who gets to go to their school, they're probably only going to take the first couple kids that applied to the school. So depending on how many kids at your school apply to FSU, here's my example. We take a group of 6 girls that have been best friends since they were in 6th grade, and they all apply to FSU. They are competing against one another when they're trying to get into FSU. They're not competing against the kid from Kansas that applies to FSU. They're competing against one another. You're competing against the people that you are sitting with in class. Everyone else at your high school that applies to that school, that's who you're competing against. So they don't have to take 6 from one school. Chances are they won't. They're going to take the top ones that meet their criteria and have a great essay, and they feel like are going to be good students for the whole 4 years at their school. So when I look at, is it easier for boys to get into college than girls? Look around. Is there a group of girls, maybe you're a part of that group, that they're all applying to the same school, whereas boys tend to be a little more independent? And I'm only saying this because I was around for 14 years. So boys will make it a little more independent choices. So occasionally their choices, based on their girlfriend or where their girlfriend wants to go, and they're going to apply to the same school together. But again, they're not necessarily competing against one another. Boys are going to be a little more independent. So if, for example, one boy's best friend is applying to USF and the other one's applying to UF, they're not competing against each other, obviously. But then if they are both applying to the same state school, like say, for example, they're both applying to FSU, chances are they did things a little bit differently as they went through high school. One of them played baseball, one of them was a swimmer, one of them actually took the easier course when they were a freshman and did, English 1, and the other one's mom made him take English 1 honors. This one actually had a tutor for SAT, so their SAT scores are a little bit higher. Boys don't tend to travel as a group as often as girls do. And that right there is why boys get into college easier than girls.